Hello, I'm Natalie Kelly and I will present an introduction to sensory adaptation strategies that are used to complement or in some cases substitute vision when vision is impaired. For human beings, vision is our primary sense and the world we live in quite clearly reflects this. Major aspects of life are purely dominated by vision, such as driving, choosing the clothes you want to wear or even buy, moving around your environment, accessing information on the internet, communicating via social media, or even following someone on Instagram. Humans have a pretty amazing ability to adapt to change when a sense is lost. When vision is lost through a gradual process, this adaptation evolves unconsciously. When vision becomes impaired, our body kicks into a compensatory mode and starts to utilize and integrate other senses to supplement, support, and verify information we're getting from the reduced vision. When vision is lost, two major senses play a vital role in helping us adapt to the visual world. These senses are hearing and touch. Although smell, taste, and proprioception also play a role in integrating and understanding visual perception, for the purpose of your introduction to sensory adaptation, I will predominantly highlight auditory and tactile integration as they play a more significant role when we have low vision. Through the process of adaptation, other senses are used to access information to substitute for vision loss. For example, someone that is blind commonly uses touch to read through the mode of Braille. So many people are under this false pretense that when vision is lost or significantly impaired, people learn to use other senses more efficiently and they obtain enhanced hearing or touch or smell, etc. Research into this field has proven that people do not learn to use other senses better. Mounting evidence of neuroimaging studies has shown that the brain actually rewires itself and integrates the process of other senses such as hearing and touch into the visual system. Neuroimaging studies of blind participants support that afferent auditory and tactile stimuli activate cortical areas devoted to vision. The brain becomes able to process touch and sound as visual information. A study by Franco Lepore and colleagues showed that people who lost their sight at an early age could localize sound better than their sighted participants. Their findings suggested that areas of the brain normally dedicated to processing visual stimuli, such as the occipital lobe, are also connected to processing sound. Various studies that look at cross-modal plasticity in Braille users versus sighted readers show that functional MRI imaging studies of blind people as they read words in Braille showed activities in precisely the same part of the brain that lights up when sighted readers read. A study by Goswowski and colleagues reported that activation of the occipital lobe was specifically related to reading Braille by Braille users. Although the study was small, including 12 congenitally blind participants, all blind individuals reading Braille showed robust activation of the primary, secondary, and higher visual cortices. When the participants used their Braille reading hand to conduct a pure motor activity, such as finger tapping, then only the somatosensory cortex was activated. This study was significant, although small, because it demonstrated that the brain learns to differentiate between finger touching and finger reading. Hearing is an essential sense that enables us to communicate and form relationships with each other. Hearing has a strong connection with language, which is vital for learning and concept development. The auditory system is responsible for various functions. The conduction of sound waves through the ears provides information about the body's sense of equilibrium or balance. The semicircular canals enable the detection of movement in three planes: anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, and left and right. Hearing also provides spatial information about the location and direction of objects in our environment and in relation to self. This is important to remember when I talk to you about echolocation. Hearing can be utilised in various ways to support vision impaired people. When assisting someone with low vision to access print, audio can be recommended as an alternative option. Audio can be used as a complete substitution for vision, or it can be used in conjunction with vision. Some strategies for using audio are audio books, accessing options on your portable and desktop IT, or using adaptive technologies such as JAWS, which is a speech program, or optical character recognition, OCR applications, which convert text to speech. Audio information can be used to help people with vision loss recognize a familiar person. The use of voice recognition of a loved one is utilized instead of predominantly relying on vision to recognize their facial features. Using hearing as an alternative to vision is a great way of accessing information about activities of daily living tasks that were predominantly obtained through vision. Devices such as an alarm clock to tell the date and time, or using a liquid level indicator when pouring tea, are strategies to maintain independence. A liquid level indicator works by placing the device on the lip of the cup, and when the liquid hits the sensors that sit on the inside of the cup, the device beeps as an indication for the person to stop pouring. As I mentioned previously, hearing provides us with information about objects within our space. Echolocation is a skilled technique that can be used by people who are blind or have low vision. Daniel Keish is an American orientation and mobility instructor who has created a name for himself internationally for mastering the skill of echolocation. He was born with bilateral retinoblastoma and consequently had bilateral enucleations by 13 months old. Daniel has learned to see using echolocation, producing clicks with his tongue and sending out bursts of sound which bounce off surfaces around him and are echoed back to him. These vibrations allow him to form a visual image in his visual cortex of the brain and see his environment. The sharp clicks travel at a speed of more than 300 meters per second and return to him at the same speed, although the volume of the clicks or the returning wavelengths are decreased. This form of obtaining information about his environment in some cases is far more effective than visual input that we receive. His method of echolocation grants him a 360-degree view of his environment, with it working almost as well behind him as it does in front of him. He reports to be able to see around corners, and the sound also works through surfaces. It's pretty amazing to watch something like this in action. So touch. Touch allows us to receive information about our internal and external environments, making it an important sensory perception strategy. Touch is the first sense to develop. It occurs when we're just 8 weeks old in the womb. Touch can be used as a protective mechanism to keep us safe and to tell us if we're in danger. It helps us detect temperatures, hot or cold, from our normal internal regulation. We also use it to verify various textures. Touch gives us information about pressure, how heavy or light something is against our body, and whether or not there is a push or a pull, or whether or not there's sensations of vibrations around us. We also use touch to form bonds with each other. There is significant amount of research to support that infants use touch to learn about the world around them and to bond with others. Positive touch also assists infants in healthy development. However, when using touch, there are some considerations and limitations we need to consider. Some people can be tactile sensitive. This is when they may be resistant to contact with another person, or when they are resistant, or when certain textures produce an undesirable sensation. To also consider is peripheral neuropathy. This is when the receptors in our periphery, such as our fingertips, has reduced sensitivity. This can cause an adverse outcome if it's not taken into consideration. An example of this is if someone has reduced touch sensations and they burn themselves without even knowing it. Tactile input can offer valuable assistance to various activities of daily living. These include helping someone manage high-risk tasks, such as using a tactile marker on a stove to identify what burner is to be used, and also when the dial is in the off setting, and to assist the person position the dial to a certain temperature setting. Tactile bands on tins and jars can also help identify food more efficiently during meal preparation. The second bottom image on the left shows us yellow tactile markers. These tactile markers are commonly used on public walkways and train stations to provide information about direction of the path. These are indicated by the long raised sections, and when to stop, which are indicated by the dots. Traffic lights also have vibrating buttons coupled with a corresponding beep. The intervals of the vibrations and beep are coordinated to help people know when it's safe to cross the road, or when the green man appears. The use of a cane also provides tactile feedback about the gradient and surface texture of the path or in the environment in which someone is moving around in. Touch can be a valuable sense to help develop concepts such as 3D tactile mapping of objects. Touching something provides immediate feedback about the shape, texture, and density of an object. The Felix Library identified in the bottom left image is offered by Vision Australia. The Felix book provides an alternative introduction to literature. A Felix kit includes a copy of the children's book with clear Braille dots placed on top of words and a toy that represents the main character or item or theme of the book. The Felix books enable the child with vision loss to interact with the literature and help them develop their understanding of the story through touch. Braille is a tactile coding system used for reading and writing and is commonly used by people who are blind or have low vision. It was created by Louis Braille, a French educator who lost his vision as a result of an early childhood accident. Because of his determination to learn, he developed a system to enable him to read and write quickly and efficiently. A Braille character is made up of cells composed of 6 dots, 2 columns of 3 dots. The number and arrangement of the raised dots distinguish one character from the other. The mapping of the characters vary from language to language and in some cases within a language, such as there is a UK English version and an American English version. There is also uncontracted and contracted Braille to consider. Uncontracted Braille or Grade 1 Braille refers to letter-by-letter interpretation, whereas contracted Braille or Grade 2 Braille is shorthand and used for efficiency, where C represents the word can and TD could represent the word today. Our ability to adapt to vision loss through cross-modal reorganisation, augmented with advances in technologies dramatically closing the gap between the capabilities of the sighted and those with vision loss. These factors are reflected in increased independence in this community and also eventuating into real career opportunities and possibilities. You have to take your hat off to the human body using sensory adaptation to its complete advantage. Thank you.